Hello and good morning. Welcome back, 3B. I hope you are happy. I hope you are healthy. I hope you enjoyed your time off. So good to be back with you all, even in this weird format. I'm a big fan. So tell me, everyone, how are we doing? How was our time off? Hopefully you spent some time with family, was able to do some things that you enjoyed. I know it's a little tough. Get that welcome message in there. Okay. Do a quick network test here. Oh, that's a lie and a half, but okay. I do need to change that for sure. Oh yeah, for sure. Lucas and Leanna and Emily and Matt. Hello, good morning and welcome. Luke is here as well. Hello, good morning, Luke. Oh yeah. All right, download speeds are good. Now for the ever-important upload. How is everyone doing today? How was our break on a scale of 1 to 10? Where would you put it? 10 being the best, 1 being the worst. Ryan, good morning and hello. I don't want to try that. Thank you. That's funny. So I'm taking a look at some network things here as we kind of get back into the live stream world. Alyssa, hello and good morning. Lucas with a 12 out of 10. Fantastic. Did anybody have anything exciting or interesting happen for them over a break? Last class, I had some folks that got puppies, that had nieces and nephews born. I can't say that I had a puppy, although I did have a cousin born, so that was kind of cool. Animal adoption rates are like skyrocketing, so that's kind of exciting. Oh, here they go again. Meow, meow, meow. Mm-hmm. Cool. Everything's good. I'll keep that open for now. Why not? Ellen, hello and good morning. Well, thank you, Luke, for being the only person to answer my question there. We'll give like another minute or so for some folks to hopefully pop in. I didn't want to skip a beat today to make sure that we're making progress in things that we need to cover. And so I wanted to jump into some online editing stuff. Mike, hello and welcome. As you guys know, I kind of teased pretty heavily before we left for break that we're going to be getting into doing some video stuff. All right, which is awesome because it takes us back to kind of where we were in class, but also will hopefully hopefully find that you guys are going to have to get back to project stuff. So it will ideally and hopefully lighten up your work schedule, as you'll have a little bit more flexibility in doing projects, and you'll find that like the day-to-day classwork that we've been doing thus far will kind of go away as we shift focus and get back to doing some video stuff. So today's going to be pretty crucial in making sure that you guys are taking the first step in getting back to that and going over our online editor. Dan is here now. Welcome. Hello. All right, so the name of the game today is I know it sounds simple, is that I want to make sure that we're able to all log into the platform, that we're able to very quickly just make sure that you're part of our group, which is our class, and I'll start to go over some of the interface things with you. I'm checking my list now, as there were a small handful of people that had already created an account, and those people will have to use their existing passwords. And there's nobody in this class, which is awesome. Okay, cool. So that's good. I'm going to wait 6 more seconds. 11:10. All right. And so just so you guys, I guess, hear it here, as we will be, if you haven't heard already, it looks like we'll be kind of in this platform for the next few weeks, as our governor said on Friday or Saturday, that schools will be closed until May 15th. So, and that is the earliest that we have a date for. I wouldn't be surprised if it got pushed back further, but it is what it is, and we're going to try our best to work with those circumstances. So thank you for being here in our class today, and I'm looking forward to getting to work with you in this weird, kind of nebulous virtual way as best we can and as much as possible. Thank you, everyone that did the feedback survey before break. That grade has not been added yet, but it will be for the 4th marking period. So if you didn't get a chance to do that. But that feedback was really significant. So thank you for those of you that did that, because genuinely speaking, the words were rather kind. Overwhelmingly, I was very surprised to hear that a lot of people liked this format with YouTube versus some of the conferencing that like Zoom or Google Meets I know some other teachers have been using. So that's exciting to hear, because I enjoy it as well, and it's going to make things like today really helpful, because while you're here live and we'll be able to go through things together, if you need to refresh your memory or you need to go back and check something, this video of course is there for you then to reference later, and you can kind of scrub through and get to where you need to get to in order to rewatch some stuff. Julia's here. Hello and good morning. Almost. Oh no, we're not good afternoon yet. We got a while. So that being said, let's transition a little bit to our agenda for today. The name of the game is to get into, and I'm going to get to my dashboard here real quick so I can pop it up, our WeVideo editing platform. As I've stated before, and is that this is completely internet cloud-based, which means you'll be able to log in on your Chromebook and use a simplified editor. It's not as complex as Adobe Premiere, of course, and with that comes some limitations in what we can do, but that's okay, because we're going to creatively work around those limitations. It also means that you should be able to, and I haven't tested this yet, but arguably log in from anywhere and your video is there. Like your phone, your home computer, and so this becomes a really great tool for us to use to continue doing what we do as a TV production class, which is video production. And so I just want to get into this today in a very simple way to make sure that we're able to all log in, we're able to understand the interface, and we're going to do some very basic things within the software just to get our feet wet a little bit today. All right, my goal is going to be on Wednesday to continue some of the tutorial or revisit some questions that you guys have, and then present to you a more formal assignment that is going to utilize some of the clips that I've put in there for us to practice with today, to do a very basic and simple edit, just so that you have some time to practice with me here today and then on Wednesday. And so that way you'll have a little bit more structure to what you're doing with the footage that is seemingly random. And to some degree, it is random. I pulled it from a stock video website, and just thought it would be good to kind of tinker around and play with. And of course, a lot of the footage is just beautifully shot, so that kind of helps too. So the one thing I will say is that the very first time I did this, there were a lot of technical issues on the student end and on my end. And so if I find that the network becomes a problem, then I will record a lesson as a video and upload that to Classroom for you. That wasn't a case as I moved through this with my TV3 classes, but day one was a little rough. So when I'm on my desktop screen and you see me bouncing back and forth between some windows, that's not to confuse you. I'm just checking in on the chat here, all right, because I don't see this when I'm on my WeVideo tab. And then I might check back to my broadcasting software to make sure that down in this corner here that everything's good, as it tends to skip a little bit when I'm in that view. So just bear with those screen changes, all right, if you will. And I'm just going to ask that if you haven't already, all right, and you saw the link posted in Classroom, there is also some information there for WeVideo. Now, I can't say that out loud, and I can't put it in the chat, as these videos, while not public, are still findable online, and I don't want people to come across that login information for you. So if you haven't already, open up a second tab in your browser and go to WeVideo.com. It is going to prompt you for a login, okay? You don't have to create an account. I've already created the accounts for you, and the login password and information, all right, is posted on Classroom. Now again, I can bounce to that tab, but I can't have it up on the screen, and I can't say it out loud or put it in the chat because I don't want others to find it. But if you go to Classroom and you go to the stream, you will see the post that had the link for the live stream there today, and above that is the information for the login info. So if you guys can open a tab, go to WeVideo.com, and then sign in using that username and login info for you. All right, the password is case sensitive, so you want to make sure that any letters that are capitalized there are capitalized when you enter them. And then if you can give me a quick thumbs up in the chat to let me know that you were able to successfully log in, that would be fantastic. And if anyone has any difficulties logging in, please let me know so I can address them here. I'm going to pause, give you guys an opportunity to do that. With just one quick note in that your guys's contributions to the chat here, I understand that you're going to be bouncing back and forth between tabs, but letting me know that you're making progress helps me know that I can continue on with things. So please make sure if I'm asking, hey, give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down, give me that thumbs up or thumbs down just so I can see that we're moving together. All right, and don't be afraid if you feel like you're behind and you're the one person giving thumbs down. That's fine. All right, because again, if you have that question, maybe someone else does too, and so we'll work through it together. So give me some indication that we're okay, or if we have questions, let me know. All right, and then we'll bounce on over to our WeVideo tab together. Whoops, let's do this real quick. Pardon my runny nose. I don't think there were any issues with folks not being able to get a login. All right, Aiden is joining us. You might need to catch up a little bit, Aiden. head to wevideo.com, and then the username and password are posted on Classroom. Lucas, Michael, Leanna, Daniel, thumbs up. Awesome. Thank you. And thank you for rocking that emoji as well. Alyssa's got the thumbs up. Beautiful. As I'm now out of water and have to go the next 30 minutes. Okay, we can do this. All right. So like I said, I'm going to move over to my desktop view and just throw a question in the chat. All right. If you have it, don't feel like you're interrupting me. I want to apologize now if I go on for a little bit and don't get to that question immediately, only because I didn't see it. But I will be checking periodically to see how you guys are doing and if we have questions and stuff. All right. Julia, Luke, Ellen, awesome. Glad we have a thumbs up as well. Cool. Okay. So let's bounce over to desktop. Let's go to WeVideo. All right. So once you log in, all right, you're going to see a screen similar to this. All right. The only difference is I have some recent edits here. You guys don't have any edits here, and that's okay. We're going to get into one today. All right. It should welcome you up here. It's going to say hello and your name. All right. Just know that that name was pulled from like the school's system. So if it's like your full name and not what you prefer to be called, I apologize. I just pulled that info from the school system. All right. You're not going to have these two circles here. This is just for me as the administrator saying how much time has been used and how much storage has been used. Okay. It should tell you down in the corner here that you are part of our class. And I can show you what that looks like. If I go to groups and go to our group, all right, here we are, TV production 3B. All right. So this is everyone here. All right. In our class, which is fantastic. Also, full transparency with this, gang. It does let me know when you are using the software. Okay, so if you were like, oh, Mr. Leonard, I did that project, but something happened and I don't know where it went. I can go in and see when the last time you used this software was and how many times you've been in a project. So I'm not trying to be like sneaky. The WeVideo does it on its own. I'm just letting you know that I can see that information. All right. So if you're having issues, don't lie and say that you were working on stuff and it's gone. It will tell me. Email me. Ask me. Hey, Mr. Leonard, I'm having trouble. Help me out. Okay, Lucas, yours says join group or class. Let's investigate. You shouldn't have to do that. And there's Lucas here. Okay, cool. Awesome. So if your dashboard down on the bottom here says join group or class, you do not have to do that. All right. I've automatically joined you into our class. So perfect. Michael, Ellen, and Matthew says the same thing. All right. And great. And sometimes it will have a class code there, and sometimes it will have a option to join group or class. All right. And you can do that because, for example, you might have, I don't know, like I have students that have 2 production classes. And so I was able to put them in a group. I was actually able to put them in both groups. But let's just say hypothetically a student in my broadcasting class who was also in my TV3 class wasn't part of my TV3 class. They can join my TV3 class with a code similar to Google Classroom. And so that's why that's there. But you don't need to actually join a group because you guys are part of the group. All right. So here's where things, they don't get confusing or tricky. In fact, this is really simple. And I know it's been a while since we've, 1, been in school, but 2, like been in Premiere in a meaningful way. So I apologize if I gloss over some things. I'm going to try and break things down almost to the point where like, oh, with Mr. Leonard, we get this. Cool. I think there's so many things that carry over, but again, it's just, this is a different tool. It's kind of like, I always equate it to using, like I use a bunch of different editors, and it's kind of like a hammer is a hammer, and each hammer is a little bit different, but they work the same way. And so if you can learn one, you can learn another, and the skills will transfer over. So this is really just using editing skills, but in a different platform. Ryan, thank you for the heads up there. All right. And I appreciate you sticking with us. I know it can be tough to work through a bogged down network connection. All right. So do your best, and we'll do our best to help along the way. Okay. So First things first, after the layout, you have options here to create a new video or create a new recording. All right, if you have a webcam or you use your built-in webcam, you can kind of capture live here, which we don't need to be doing for right now. All right, or you can choose a template, of which there are tons, but we're not going to be using those for the time being. In fact, we're not even going to create a new video, and here's why. So the menu at the top here, all right, this is your main dashboard. Has a few other menu options. Okay, the only one you won't see is probably admin because you're not admin. You're going to have an option or a selection for projects, which once you start to build a few projects, they'll all be listed here. So right, you can see here I've got 6 projects. 6 projects don't list under my recent edits. All right, media is going to be, and mine are in folders, of course, all the media that I have. And I can just show you what this looks like on the inside. So this is media from our first morning show that we did online. Okay. You're going to have exports, which is when your video is finalized and it exports it, it kind of puts it in its own space. And then you can revisit those templates that were there as well. But we're going to start on the main dashboard. All right. So as long as everyone's there. Ryan, gotcha. I read that as messed up, even though you wrote impressed. All right. So where you guys are going to start, okay, is we're not going to be creating a new project because I've created a group project for us. Now, if you want to use this for like another class, then by all means, you can create a new project. But when I create a project, in this case, our practice project, it's been created because there's already preset media in there. So on this main screen, you're going to go up to projects and select that tab. All right. You're going to have nothing in the center here because you haven't started any projects yet. All right. But if you notice in this sidebar, there's going to be a tab for my projects, and there's going to be a tab for projects that say shared with me. And if you click on that shared with me tab, all right, you should see a TV1 parentheses 3B practice edit project listed there. Now my screen doesn't have that because that project was not shared with me, it was shared with you. All right, so you should see that there's a project there, and if you select that project, all right, there should be an option within that to create a new video. All right, I want you guys to go ahead and select new video once you're within this project. Remember, you're not doing new video from your dashboard. You're going to projects, over here to shared with me, and then you're going to select the project I've created, and then within that create a new video. All right, and it will take you to, and I'm just going to jump back to my projects and go to, this is the one here, Leonard practice edit. Okay, it will take you to the main video editing layout. And I'm going to pause here for a sec, just check in on the chat, make sure you guys are all with me. All right, if you were able to start a new project within that project that's shared with you, give me a thumbs up in the chat. As I'm going to bounce off and I have to reply, as you're giving me thumbs, I'm going to reply to this very important email. Nope, no I won't. Okay, I've got time. Back to the desktop. All right, I'm going to erase this stuff in my timeline so you guys can see what I see. Cool. Okay. Oh, we're getting thumbs up. This is awesome. Matthew with the bump. I apologize. I didn't see that. Oh, no, Lucas. We got a thumbs down. Dan with the dab. It's asking you what template to use. Yes, thank you for clarifying and asking that question, Ryan, because Alyssa, you should be seeing the same thing. There should be a template option, but at the very top of that list, there should be something that says blank, or I guess blank template. So Ryan, your timing of that question was perfect. Thank you. All right, Lucas. So just to, I guess, rehash very quickly. All right, from your main dashboard, going over here to projects, over here to shared with me, and then you should see a project here that I created called TV1 3B Practice Edit. If you select that, it's going to prompt you to choose a blank template or an actual template. You're going to choose blank, and then you should then open up into this layout here. Oh, Lucas has got it. Okay, cool. But again, I'm glad you asked, because even me saying it a second or third time means that we hear it a second or third time, and then it becomes a little bit more ingrained. Okay, cool. So we should all be sitting at a screen that looks similar to this, which is exactly where we need to be. All right, and you'll notice up here, it's got the name of the project. There are some themes you can select, but again, we don't need a theme or anything like that. There's an option for linked resources. All right, this platform plays very well with Google Drive. And so if you have things in your Google Drive, you can link those resources, most notably docs and slides. So if you were doing, let's say, a webcam video about a PowerPoint presentation, you can link that PowerPoint here and then kind of cut away to it as you're recording, which is a helpful tool, but it's not one that we really need. So thankfully, we won't need to worry much about themes or linked resources. Okay, if you click on the project up here, it gives you an option to rename it. All right, which I'm going to ask if you could for me. If you select on the video title here, I'm going to ask you to rename the video with just your name and then practice. Whoops. And then hit OK. But I'm actually going to not put your name. I'm going to leave my name. All right, checking the chat. So far, so good. Okay. All right. So once you have that renamed, all right, you've got the 3 lines over here, commonly referred to as your hamburger menu, but this is your main menu dropdown. All right, so you'll see from here, you can start a new edit, which we don't need to. We can start a new edit from a template, which again, we don't need to. You can open other projects. You can save this project. And of course, you can kind of go back into your version history if you need to. All right, there's really nothing in the settings that you would need to change. It should default to timeline view because we are, yes, and you are an advanced editor. We don't need to worry about this version here. It just changes the layout a little bit. All right. So the nice thing with this is that typically every few moves you make in the editor, it will save automatically. And you'll see down here in the bottom right-hand corner or bottom left-hand corner in orange, it says all changes are saved. So you might make a few moves and notice that it will say here, all changes are saved. It might say last saved 4 minutes ago. You can always manually save it here as well, okay? Which is always a good thing to do at the very least before you close out your tab. All right, if you close out the tab, you might lose some progress. Checking on some things here and here. Okay, looking good. So if we move down below to this sub-menu, all right, we've got a few options. Now, I guess conveniently or nicely, WeVideo adds some stock footage that you're allowed to pull from. All right, so there's some clips in here. All right, now you may not be seeing flags. My understanding is that this stock media is actually kind of randomized each time you get into it. And so it might be a little bit different for everybody. All right, you can search for stuff. All right, you can toggle what you want to look for. So if you search for video and let's just, I don't know, type in dog. Do I get any dogs? Dogs? Oh, look at that. There's some puppies and stuff. Cool. All right, which is nice. And that footage is yours to use, provided by WeVideo. And look, I just clicked off of it and now it did a search for Canyon, which is kind of cool. All right. Next to that is My Media. Now, here's where things could get a little confusing. As you can see, all right, we've got some folders over here. I've got My Media, and this is stuff that I've personally, have put into WeVideo. You guys probably don't have any media here as you haven't brought anything in. All right, we're not going to have to worry about that for the first project. We'll talk about that as we get into further projects. Shared is going to, again, probably something that you don't see, as this is footage that I've shared with other people. All right, but you should have an option here for project media. And if you click on project media, it's going to include, all right, all the clips that I've put in this project for you. All right, you'll see that there are some audio files, and there's 22 video clips as well, all right, that are there for us to go through. And I'll go through them in a sec. I just want to talk about the other things listed in this menu here, and then I'll pause before we move on and check the chat and see how you guys are doing. All right, so your media should be there. All right, if we move over to text, for those of you that hated doing text in Premiere, all right, you get way more control. However, some of these templates are pretty useful. All right, if you want to do just normal text, all right, there's some options over here. These are all texts that have motion. So if you click on it once, it previews it in this window, which is really nice. Okay, you can even do some graphics like that, which is kind of cool. All right, if you want to narrow it down a little bit, if you just want to do a static, simple text. All right, if you want to do a lower third, boom, there we go. All right, end credits, you can do that as well. And if you go to things that are in motion, all right, there's a lot more options there as well. Some animated lower thirds, things that'll pop up. All right, some that are kind of overtly flashy. All right, and obviously there are a lot, so you can you can go through this. There's some seasonal stuff, which is weird. Like if we want to go back to Easter, my little bunny. Oh, cute little Valentine stuff. So there's like a lot of things there that you can tinker and play with, which are kind of cool. I've primarily used some lower third things and then some static stuff. And we'll play with the static text a little bit today. All right, audio. You're gonna have some options over here for music, sound effects, and then there's premium music. All right, so what's really nice with WeVideo is that all of this stuff you have to use at your disposal. All right, and you should have a premium account, which means any of the premium music you have access to use as well. And you can see it's broken down by mood, which is really helpful. And so again, if you select a file, it'll preview it over here. Now you won't hear that, and I won't hear that because I don't have my computer speakers on. Transitions are listed next to audio. Okay, and there's some pretty basic ones. You've got your dip to black, where again it'll preview, and you've got a crossfade. Like there's some things here you can use. All right, and it will show you what that looks like in its final form over there. Backgrounds are nice if you wanted to do, I don't know, a title over like an animated background, or if you have some green screen footage, you can remove that green screen and put a background behind it. All right, so I'm going to pause there for a second, jump to the stream, see how everyone's doing. Matthew says there's nothing there for shared. Matthew, do you mean in the project there's nothing under shared media, or do you mean that the project itself was not shared with you? I'm just going to make sure while you're answering that question, I'm going to check and make sure you're part of the group, which you should be. Oh, look at that. You are not. Maybe you're on my list. Let me check. I believe it was this. Ah, there you go. Matthew, I know why. Okay. Oops. Let me get rid of this. Okay. So, Matt, you may have used this platform in the past. So when I went to add you for an account, it said that an account already exists. And that was that screen that I pulled up. So you can see here that your name and email your school email is already taken, meaning that you've logged in with this prior to our class. So maybe you've used it in, like before break, I had a TV3 student that was like, oh, I used this in 8th grade. Okay. So they had an account already there, which means that your login and password is going to be different than mine, which means I just need to make sure that you are now part of this group. Add members to group. Select members. Yeah, and I can see Matthew just because your icon is different. Okay, cool. So now that we've got that, all right, so Matt, do me a favor. Go back to your dashboard, hit the refresh button in the browser. Okay, then go to projects, then go to shared with me, and then let me know if we see anything there. For everyone else, hang tight. I appreciate your patience in letting us sort this out, and then we'll move into the next phase. And honestly, if you guys want to like tinker and play, like don't let me hold you back. If you kind of want to mess around with some stuff, go for it. All right. When we get back and Matt checks in, we're going to move on to the next phase, which is just some very basic interface stuff and how things work. Because it doesn't feel like it, but we've got 20 minutes left of our time together today. And so I want to make sure that we at least cover how we move things to the timeline. I'll get into more specifics next class, but that'll be a perfect time then to cover the last few little things and then get into some more structured playing around with this stuff. So Matt, just give me some indication that if you refreshed, you were able to find that stuff. Awesome. Cool. Okay. So thank you for letting me know, and thank you for telling me the first time that we weren't in there. So you were one of the few people. I think there were, I guess, 13 people that it didn't work for. But that was because you had an account and now you're squared away, which is awesome. Okay. So we talked about stock. We talked about your media, text, audio, transitions, and backgrounds. All right. Now you'll notice the one thing that we don't have here, okay, is we don't have two separate viewing monitors for your preview and your program. Remember, our source monitor and our program monitor were two separate windows in Premiere. That's not the case in WeVideo. This window kind of does double duty, and that can be a little bit confusing, especially once you start to put clips in your timeline. Okay, so let me just go to Project Media so you see what you have there. Okay, but this will act double duty, and we'll tinker with some clips here in a sec. All right, you'll notice down in the bottom, all right, that you've got a video track and you've got an audio track and you've got your playhead, which is now here in this big blue rectangle that I can't scrub through because I have nothing in my timeline. That makes sense. All right. Now, I personally like to adjust how I see these tracks. And you'll notice that, one, if you select the track name, you can rename it, all right? So, for example, when I did the morning show, I might have had video 1 might have been all my anchor pieces, and so I just renamed this to anchor, all right? If my video 2 was all my segments, I could call this segments. And again, it's just a nice way to stay organized. I'll keep it video 1, so we're all on the same page here. And then, you can add a few as well. So if you need to stack a lot of clips, maybe a lot of text or some pictures, you can always click on the plus here to add a video, or audio track, and then you can immediately give it a name as well. And you'll see that if I say select audio, it automatically knows that this is the second audio track and will name it appropriately. I don't need to add that right now, so we'll leave that as is. Okay, the icon here, which is next to the plus, is the same as the magnet icon in Premiere. This is your snap. This is what's going to allow clips to automatically attach to one another. So when you bring it close, it's going to jump, all right, to touch the clip that came before it. So I'm just going to start to move some video down. All right, I'm going to start with this clip of the seal. So if I have this seal clip and I click it once, it's going to send it over to this monitor here. Now I can see at a glance in the thumbnail that this clip is 10 seconds and 5 frames. And so if I play that out, we get this cute little adorable baby seal. I just want to pet his little squishy face. All right. So I can preview that clip here, which is great. All right. And if I want to take that clip and move it into my timeline, all right, you'll notice that unlike Premiere, I can't drag this clip down. You'll see when I start to drag from the thumbnail, it starts to highlight other things on the page. All right, so that's one thing that we need to kind of retool our brains for. If I want to take this clip to the timeline, I take it directly from the media pane here, and I'm going to just click and drag that down, and you'll see that it shows itself in video track 1. Okay, now I don't like this view, so I'm going to make a few changes. All right, I'm going to go to video 1, and I'm going to click on this drop down arrow here in order to change the video height. Now it's preset, all right, but I kind of like it to look a little bit larger. I don't need it super large. All right, I think that's takes up a lot of space, but there's a reason for that, and we'll get into that in a sec. Okay, if I want to zoom in on my timeline, that zoom option is over here in the corner. All right, I can stretch that out, and then it gives me a nice thumbnail view along the way. So I'm going to delete that clip for a sec, and here's why. I'm going to go back to the seal clip in a sec. I'm just going to go check in on the stream, make sure you guys are good. Okay, so far so good it seems like. All right, let's just hypothetically say in this 10-second and 5-frame seal clip, I don't want to use all of it. I want to use just the beginning. So I can, over here, select it to go into this preview window, and you'll notice that there are handlebars on the end of this clip, all right, that are going to allow me to adjust my in points and out points. So if I want to use, say, the first half of this clip, okay, I'm going to go to my out point, and I'm just going to drag it down. And I can see the numbers in orange let me know the time. So if I know, all right, this clip is, let's just round down, it's 10 seconds, I want to use the first 5 seconds, I can bring this out to 5 seconds. Boom, there it is. And it shows that this section is the select section that's highlighted. However, unlike Premiere again, you don't drag from here, you're going to drag from this image still. All right. So even if I bring this one down, you can see in my timeline, all right, that it's 5 seconds long. Whereas Premiere, I can go back to this clip and adjust the in points and out points again. Let's just say maybe at the end of this video, I want to use the second half. So, okay, let's bring our out point back. Let's bring our in point in to 5 seconds. All right, and if I, again, drag from the media browser there, I now have the first 5 seconds and the last 5 seconds. Okay, so you can still multi-purpose clips. You don't have to use just chunks. You can kind of go back to those clips and revisit. You just need to adjust your in points and out points here. So I'm going to delete that for a sec. In fact, I'm going to delete my seal for a sec so I can show you one more thing in your timeline. This clip here, all right, I'll just preview it for you guys. All right, is a band that's performing. All right, I'm going to bring to my timeline in its entirety. I'm just going to show you what this looks like, because this clip is slightly different in that there's actually audio to this clip. All right, now it doesn't show in my audio track. The audio track is specifically for audio that I'm going to add or you're going to add, all right, whether it's music, whether it's sound effects, all right, and in your project media, there are 2 songs there. I'll get to those in a sec, okay? What I'm not seeing in this clip is the audio that is attached to that clip. And part of that reason has to do with the view of our timeline. So, if I use that drop down again to make the track as large as possible, you will see underneath the audio that is attached to that clip. All right. Now I can't hear it because my speakers aren't on. Actually, can I turn them on? Yeah, but you probably can't hear that. Anyway, you can see the waveform so you can see where that audio is. All right, and you'll notice now that to the left, you've got audio for the track. So let's hypothetically assume you shot some stuff at home, all right, using your phone, and when you bring those video clips in, all of those clips have audio. And let's say that you don't want any of that audio in the background. Well, if you bring all those clips to the same track and then lower the volume of that track, that audio is gone, okay? So that's going to be really helpful if we have projects where maybe you're recording at home and, I don't know, your brother or sister's screaming in the background and you know you're not using the audio anyway. You can get rid of every audio in that track there. All right, if you want to selectively get rid of audio, let's say you've got 3 clips in your timeline and you want one of them to not have audio. If you notice that when that clip is selected, okay, it's highlighted in orange, all right, but you will also see a tab that pops up here giving you some options. All right, you can open the clip editor, which I'll do in a sec, all right. You can open the keyframe editor, which is usually for opacity. All right, so you can adjust the opacity, and we're going to turn that off. All right, or you can adjust your volume. All right, and so you'll notice that when you click on the speaker here, all right, it turns on your adjustable volume for that track. All right, and you'll see that blue line appear at the very top of your audio track. At the very top means it's full. So if you want to bring it down, yeah, bring it down. All right, and you'll notice that the blue line doesn't change, but the grayed in area does change. So at 100%, if you see when it starts to go down, all right, that gray area gets lightened. You can turn that all the way down if you want to kill the audio in that track. All right, the other thing you can do, all right, is now that my audio is turned on, you can add keyframes to adjust your audio, much like we did in Premiere. Now, there's not a pen tool that you have to select. You're going to do it with your selection tool. But let's say I wanted this audio to fade in. All right. I can just click anywhere on the blue line to add a keyframe and then make an adjustment here to say lower that one. I can add a third one if I want it to go subtle and then come up quickly. All right. And I know I can't play it back so you can hear it, but this is basically me telling within this clip, you're going to gradually get louder, and then you're going to very quickly get to normal 100% volume. Okay, so you can do some very simple audio stuff there. If you click on the FX button, this is going to open up a separate window where you're able to add like filters. Basically, like if you used Instagram or Snapchat, you're familiar with filters, and there's only a few. But like, let's say you wanted to go black and white with this clip. Boom, add it, apply, done. Okay, and if you're like, I don't like the way that looks, you just uncheck it. Now, it will preview it here, which is nice. Okay, so if you're like, oh, what does inverted colors look like? Hover over it, and it'll show you in your window there what that will look like. And if you go, nah, I don't like it, then that prevents you from going, okay, inverted colors, apply. Oh, that looks really terrible. Okay, back to FX. Let's take that off and then apply. I'm going to pause. I know that was a lot. That was a mouthful. So I'm going to pause right now, go back to the chat for a sec. James with a killer question. How do we submit the work on there? All right, I'll answer the question, and then guys, I'm gonna stop for today. Okay. I don't want to get too far into it. I think you're gonna feel very comfortable with this. But we're gonna leave some stuff for Wednesday just to do we're going to do together a very basic opening, and then I'm going to cut you loose for some more structured stuff. So to answer James's question, which is excellent, thank you, James. Okay, let's say your video is finished. All right, when your video is done, and let's see if I can get into a project that's already finished. Rocket News from home. Let's just go to edit. All right, so here's my finished project. All right, the whole show is done. If I want to export, we can hit finish in the upper right hand corner. It's going to ask you to name your project. It's going to ask you how you want to export it. Some people do audio only, like maybe you record with your webcam something and you're like, hey, I'm going to make this a audio podcast. You can record your audio. All right, you can select the resolution, which of course you always want HD, and then you can select your thumbnail. All right, which it will auto generate for you, so don't worry so much about that. But if there are 3 options that look really nice, pick the best one that you think. Okay. Below, you're going to see some options. Now, I may have a few more than you do, all right, but you have options to export this directly to your Google Drive. Okay, and when you hit export, I'm not going to do that because when I export, it actually eats into my allotment of space, all right. When you select your Google Drive, it may ask you to log into Google Drive, but what's going to end up happening is when that export is finished, I'm going to go to my Google Drive here. I'm going to do a search for WeVideo. I did mean WeVideo, thank you, because I didn't spell it correctly because I'm an idiot. Okay, so when you export the WeVideo for the first time in your Google Drive, it's going to create a WeVideo folder, and then within that, it's going to create your video. And so and here's our show, right? So, cool. When your videos are finished and they show up in your drive and WeVideo, when you go to, say, Classroom, and you go to Classwork, and you go to turn something in, you're going to select Turn In from Drive. You're just going to go to that video and submit that. So it's super easy, all right? And that same process, not to get too ahead, is essentially the same as bringing media in. So when you shoot stuff at home and you start a new project and you go to My Media, you can go to import. It's going to ask where you want to import from. You can import directly from Drive, and it will take you, since my drive is attached, to your drive. You can select the folder that has your clips, and then you can bring them in. All right, so this works really well with Google Drive, which means it's going to work really well with Classroom. So James, that's an excellent question. Okay, but here's the deal, folks, as we're almost out of time. That went very quickly. All right, so I'm hoping you feel somewhat comfortable. When we meet again on Wednesday, let's bounce back here. When we meet again on Wednesday, we're going to get back into this project. Hopefully we'll have some folks that are going to join us that weren't here today. We're going to very quickly go over how we can piece some things together. We're going to do a simple open title, adjusting audio, just kind of demo an example. You loose. All right, using this footage to create just a very simple edit. All right, it's not going to be super taxing the first time out. I just want everyone to feel comfortable with the software, come up with questions as they're trying to do something, and, oh, wait, I know we did this in Premiere, but how do we do this here? Mr. Leonard, how do we... That's what that time is going to be for, all right? But we'll leave Wednesday knowing that we've got a simple edit that we can take care of as a graded homework assignment, all right? And that's going to set us up very nicely to start next week with I don't want to say bigger, but essentially a bigger video project, all right? So I'm not going to cut this short, but I'm realizing that I'm running right up against my next period class, and I have to do all of this stuff again. So I hope you guys found this helpful. Feel free to tinker and play around with this as much as you like. We're going to meet again on Wednesday to kind of continue where we left off, all right? And until then, reach out if you need to. Thank you all for being here now, and we will see you on Wednesday. All right, gang. Adios.